Welcome to the Alice City Council meeting. It is now 6:30 p.m. Wednesday, November 16th. I appreciate you taking the interest in our city's government. I'd like to thank also the viewers for viewing in today. At this time, we will bring this meeting to order. We'll open the meeting with invocation by Pastor Domingo Vela, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance, Mr. Pete Crisp. Please rise.
Let us pray. Father, we thank you for the opportunity that you have given us to be together tonight. Thank you for the day that you have given us, the strength and all the blessing that we have received from you. Father, this moment I pray for the mayor, I pray for the city council, I pray for every person that is here tonight, Father. I pray that you will guide the city council to answer every question that the people has. Father, and I pray that you will open doors for new jobs to come to this community, Father. We ask all this in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to take a few minutes and just read the citizens' appearance. Citizens who wish to address the City Council about items on the agenda which are scheduled for council action will have 3 minutes to express their position. Mr. Towler, if you could be our timekeeper, please.
I'll do that.
Citizens wishing to address council regarding the topic not on the agenda are afforded the same amount of time during the hearing of the visitors. All presentation and discussions should be directed to the City Council and all questions to the mayor. Any complaints or any discussions about individuals, personnel, council members, city staff, or other persons would be out of order and will not be heard by the City Council at this time. Charges or complaints about specific individuals should be presented in writing to the city manager. All complaints of this nature must be signed and dated by the individual filing the complaint and will be addressed pursuant to the Alice personnel policies. The mayor will ask those wishing to address the council to do so at the appropriate time. Please approach your speaker stand, state your name and address when you begin your remarks in order so that the official minutes will record your appearance before the City Council. Discuss the topics of interest. If you have written notes you wish to present to the mayor and council, please furnish an extra copy to the city clerk for the official files. Please direct your comments to the mayor and the council. Although council cannot take specific action on citizens' comments, topics due to legal requirements, they will hear the topics and council may, 1, have the item placed on the future agenda for action, 2, refer the items to the board, commission, and committees, and 3, refer the item to staff for study or conclusions. Agenda item number 2, citizen comments. Ms. Belinda Silva.
Start by telling me that it takes one more. My name is Belinda Silva. I reside at 904 Lewis, and as I've always told you, I live in Alice by choice. Several months ago, I sat at a city council meeting and heard a council member say, "We need to be transparent and we need to be trusted." Later on, when I was speaking on behalf of opening the auditorium, I told you that I would hold you all accountable. Here I stand several months later, and I am no longer the woman that I was before. I have seen firsthand how things are done within our city. Here are a few events that I have experienced as being a part of the committee. Number 1, not seeking the advice from our aquatic director, and instead of hiring a cleaning company, you paid $6,800 per month according to my records, which I have here. I did not see 3 other bids pertaining to anything spent less than $3,000 and under $50,000. The contract was for 6 months. I believe that this should have been applied according to the requisition of individual goods and services 1E. Number 2, all party contracts were made by the auditorium staff except for one in particular. According to my Open Act records that I have received, he paid $50 for rental of both party rooms and the whole water park for 6 hours. There weren't any fees in place, or so it is claimed, but somebody, another citizen, paid $400 when they only rented the auditorium and not the water park, which is much more expensive. Please explain that to us, the citizens. Number 3, lack of communication between our community and those we have to answer to is in dire need of repair, especially when the committee has been so successful as a whole and collaboratively. In having to read about a New Year's Eve bash on social media when that policy should have gone through us, asked for a recommendation and a response, in my opinion, lacks ethics. Number 4, in my personal opinion, I have had the luxury, I should not have the luxury of appointing friends to a board. That leads to speculation or conflict of interest. Number 5, I still have issues with the way our administration to the auditorium was hired, and I have questioned it from the beginning, especially when we had been so vocal of not wanting it, when he did not want it open. Number 6, our citizens keep up blaming us for our tax increase, but I am here to inform you that according to the budget, we have had $0 allocated for the budget for the auditorium. So I come to you with a level of concern for this facility to keep moving forward. Despite the fact of how things are done does not mean that they have to remain and stay that way. Change is difficult, especially when demanding accountability and for decisions to be made without feeling as if there are ulterior motives, hidden agendas, and certainly conflicts of interest. Our committee has been successful and exceeded expectations in being successful in our ideas and implementations, according to the city ordinance that you had 2039, with all the suggestions and ideas and inputs going through us first. I am not trying to be a part of the problem. I would rather be a part of the solution. But we have come to you time and time again in private meetings, whole meetings, and everything. Please listen to me and make the right decisions.
Thank you, ma'am. Paul Sanchez?
My name is Paul Sanchez, 1122 Acapulco Circle in Alice, Texas. I've been here all my life, and I have a business, a rag business, and the reason I'm here is because the taxes, our property taxes, have gone up 25, 26% for the whole city, and I don't think that's right. I mean, I went to the appraisal, and somebody I don't want to name there told me that the reason was the properties had gone up because there was no oil field no more, no companies that are open anymore, and the reason I blame the city for that, they overtaxed them, property taxed them, and they left. And some of the companies that I deal with said they'll never come back to Alice because of the city councilmen that were here before. I know that y'all are new, but still. And another thing, why should we be blamed to pick up the slack for the companies that are not here anymore, the revenue that's not here no more? I mean, we're called the hub city, so I think that most of the majority of the people that live here in Alice are oil field related. So if they suffer, we suffer. I suffer too. I lost 65%, maybe more, of the customers that I have that are gone. That cannot be replaced anymore. So I'm working maybe a day and a half a week, but there's people that have no jobs no more. And there's people out there that their unemployment ran out. How do you expect those people to pay the taxes, You're not looking out for the people, you're just looking out for yourself. I heard that y'all did a cut of 10%. Did y'all give yourself another raise since y'all had the price hike of the 25%? These are concerns from the public that some of the people don't want to live here anymore because of y'all overtaxing them, and I don't blame them. People leaving this city of Alice. And I think the majority of the fault is the city council making the wrong decisions for the people of Alice. I don't think that you all really care about the people. I think that you all really care about your pocket and not ours, not our our sake, for our good, of the city. And I know that they say that y'all don't have the budget. Well, I guess one of the biggest mistake was that natatorium project that y'all made over there, 22 million, that you could have had in money so I just don't. That's all I gotta say. I know my time's running.
Thank you, Mr. Sanchez. Melissa Palmham?
Mayor, Council. My name is Melissa Popham, and I live at 1118 Arcadia. I've lived here for almost 2 years. I'm a business owner, homeowner, and I've been to about every city council meeting possible in the last 2 years, with the exception of maybe 2 or 3. I've watched a lot of things happen. I've watched a lot of negative. I've watched the can be kicked down the road. But in the past few months, I have seen a huge change, a positive change that I think is going to help us all. Business owners, we're all suffering. No one's in this alone. The entire country is suffering because of one thing or the other. It's not your fault. You guys inherited a mess, a huge mess. No one here has the right to blame you guys. The city, at one point, decisions weren't made the way they should have been, but it isn't your fault. I'm here today to tell you that I thank you for being as positive as you've been. You've made some huge decisions. You've cut pay on people that you didn't want to cut. You've raised our taxes, mine too. I got to pay them. Didn't want to do that. You are for the people, and I appreciate you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Jolynn Van Ober?
I'm Jolene Vanover, reside at 1905 Clarice. I'm here to speak today about my concerns. I'm super excited about growth in our town that maybe some people don't know. Shady Shores, which is a assisted living / nursing home going up on Houston Road and Coyote Trail in that empty area that's been there for a long time. I'm super excited about it. However, I have some concerns, being that I own a business directly behind it. And some of my main concerns, though, are not totally about myself. It's about the congestion of traffic that is going to bottle up, that is very obvious. Any parent who has children at the high school know that AM and PM drop-off and pickup is notorious for being really stressful because the traffic does bottle up there. So with this going up, possibly 400 at least employees, and then however many tenants and however many people going in is going to create more congestion of traffic. So my concern is, okay, so we've got all these businesses that are already there existing, and now we're going to add more traffic to a dead-end road that only is going to have one entrance and one exit. So if you just say scenario, your mother is dying and the ambulance has to get there, it's probably not going to be a quick entrance and a quick exit for that ambulance to go in and out because of the congestion of traffic that's already there without this business already being there. The safety of the students who walk to school from that area, so now we're adding more traffic to that area. Not to mention the existing businesses, like I said, already there. So that's already traffic that's already going through. And I don't think it was looked at properly. We were excited, which I am too, to say, yes, we want this business to come. But we need to pay attention to who's already there and not just say, yeah, let's do it and we'll fix it later, just because of the fact that we're trying to gather new business, which is fabulous, and I'm all for it. However, we need to pay attention to what the effects of this new business are going to be with the traffic and the amount of people coming in and out of there. This, aside from the safety, just general congestion, it makes no sense to not open up Houston Road, which is what I was told, that Houston Road at this point is not being opened up. This is something that I would really, really want to open. The plan was already there, and as I understand, there was a grant. But it seems like, and I'm not sure who's responsible, and it really doesn't matter who's responsible, The point is moving forward and picking up the ball that someone dropped and making this business accountable for following the requirements of the grant so that we may open Houston Street to go all the way through. That not only is going to alleviate the general traffic that's going to bottle up in that area, but it's also going to release the drainage it's going to flood back there. My business holds water for 2 weeks in that area, which when that business goes in there, the water is going to drain towards my business.
Ms. Vanover, you have 3 minutes is up.
Can I have my 3 more?
No, ma'am.
Isn't that one of the rights that I can have 3 more?
At this time, because of the amount of people that are speaking, we're
Okay.
limited to 3 minutes.
Okay, I'll forgive my 3 more. But we need to open Houston Street, really, and there's a lot more other issues other than just safety.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Sean, I can't pronounce your last name. Shelpon?
My name is Sean Chalfant. I reside at 937 Diaz here in Alice, Texas. How y'all doing this evening?
Just
Y'all look
fine.
nicely dressed also. But the one thing that you guys don't realize is that we're observing you, and I see body language, and body language says a lot about things. And I could care less about politics. But you know what? The landscape in this country is changing, and you guys need to go with those changes. And these tax increases that you're putting on the people because you guys built a water park that you can't pay for now. The oil field business has moved out because of the taxes. And on top of that, I downloaded the PDF that shows the budget for the year, and your numbers don't add up. I mean, it's simple math. And Mr. Atkinson, the third, gave all of you letters about this issue, okay? Now, I'm in the oil field, okay? I took a major cut, and that's fine. I roll with the punches. But you guys need to take the cut, too, because a lot of your salaries are still the same. And there's been some increases on a couple of you, okay? And you guys, I mean, it's whatever. You inherited this, or whatever they call it. But you guys need to start paying attention to this county and these people, because Donald Trump is in there. Nobody thought he was going to get there, but he did. Britain left the European nation. They left because they're tired of it. And that's why all these people are here, because we're not going to let you guys raise our taxes because you can't cover your bills. Okay? And it's high time that you guys start listening to the people of this county. All right? I mean, I was working all day yesterday, and I had 3 hours of sleep today, but I still came down here to voice my opinion. And it's funny, you know? I mean, the thing that you got to remember is you're voted in. Just like you were voted in, you can get voted out. And on top of that, my point in all this is that you guys need to roll the taxes back to 2015, because you raised them from 2014 to 2015, and you're going to give, what, a 6% increase this year, which gives it a total of about 25% versus what it was last year, whatever it was. But the thing is that, I mean, you guys need to hear the people. I mean, Jim Wells has been that way for years. I grew up in Alice. I grew up here. I went to every single elementary school here. I've done everything in this town. I went to the military. I left. I came back. But I'm still in Alice. And I'm a veteran also, and I'm darn proud of it, too. Okay? And you guys, I mean, if you don't want to be here, then you shouldn't be here. I mean, you're voted in. The people voted you in. And it's just despicable. I'm working, and I hear they're increasing my taxes 25%. And Mr. Atkinson has been really outspoken about this. And, I mean, it's just, you guys got to pay attention. And that's why all these people are here. I mean, I know she's here for her business, and that's fine, you know. But business isn't going to come unless you guys change what's going on. I mean, you cut the school district back this year. You cut the roads and the streets, but your salaries are still the same. 2014, 2015, 2016. And anybody can go online and look at what your budget is. It's 98 pages of budget. And if you do simple math, it doesn't add up. And most people aren't going to take the time to look at it. But I sat there and went through 98 pages last night and looked at it. It just doesn't make any sense.
Thank you, sir.
Time? Thank you.
Mr. Kim Kabala. Mr. Anasati. Candido Cantu. Mr. Joshua, I believe you have a presentation to make.
Thank you, Mayor and Council, and for the citizens that are here in attendance today that I haven't had the privilege of meeting. My name is Andy Joslin. I'm the city manager of the great city of Alice. We received November the 3rd, 2016, letter from the Government Finance Officers Association, which states the Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting has been awarded to the city of Alice by the Government Finance Officers Association of the United States and Canada for its comprehensive annual financial report. The Certificate of Achievement is the highest form of recognition in the area of governmental accounting and financial reporting, and its attainment represents a significant accomplishment by a government and its management. I want to make sure that this was presented today because it was a lot of hard work that you put into it this past year to be able to attain this and receive this in a couple of years, and you were able to do that. So if you join me down here for a photograph, I'd appreciate that.
Council, go to the floor, please. Council, under public announcement, I'll give you an opportunity to address, if you would like, any of the concerns that were addressed this evening. I'll start on my right over here. Mr. Burke?
No, sir.
Mr. Chris?
Not at this time, no.
Mr. Esquada?
I have a few words here, Mayor. Thank you. I do this because I care for the city of Alice. And my salary for this, let me show you how much it is. This is what I get. I get zero compensation. If I decided to take a stipend, it would be like $50 a month, $600 a year. I take zero. I care for the city of Alice, and that's why I'm here. I'm here for you all. When taxes are increased, I'm increasing my own. It hurts. I care for the city of Alice, and that's what I'm here. I'm here to represent you all. And if some people are misinformed, and they can check the records, I get zero compensation for what I do. The only gratification that I get is trying to help the citizens to make sure that they have their fire, police protection, that the garbage is picked up twice a week, that they have water to drink, and all the other services that are provided. I love the city of Alice, I care for the city of Alice, and that's why I'm here, and that's why I'm doing this. And this is my pay. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Beltran?
Yes, I have a few words I want to say, Mayor. First and foremost, I want to thank everyone who has shown the initiative to come out here and voice their opinions, and your opinions do matter to us. We do care. This is our community. This is all of our community. For a very long time, I've been saying that the only people that can fix this town, is this people. I just don't know how you can slap somebody in the face and expect them to do what you want them to do. We need to get away from that mentality. We need to figure out a way to work together. I'm glad that everyone's here tonight. In fact, I wish we had more attendance during our budget meetings when it does matter. but we had very few people here. I own a business in this community, and with several properties in this community, and yeah, taxes, it hurts. And my business is down. I have a novelty business. No one has to hire me to do anything. I dedicate my time to my people of this community, and I do it because I love this town. We take no compensation from this, and we do it. People ask me, why do you do what you do? You're doing it for free? I said, yeah, we do it for free. I thought y'all got paid. No, we don't get paid. So why do you do it? Well, because we love our town. But this town needs not to be divided. Everyone can point at a problem. And yeah, there is problems. But if we don't get our heads together to figure this out, we're never going to get out of it. I've sensed division. I've sensed people pointing fingers. It's those guys up there. It's not us. If we were that powerful, we'd be in D.C. today. But this is our community, and we care about this place. And raising taxes is something that no councilman here wants to do. I knew coming in when I ran, they said, Pete, you're going to have to raise taxes. We just don't know how much. And no one wants to be that councilman that goes in that has to raise taxes. But it takes a councilman who is responsible to do the right thing. This November, we would have been bankrupt had we not raised taxes. So you can hate this council for raising taxes, or you can hate us for going bankrupt. Yes, we were dealt a bad hand, and we're going to deal with it, and we're going to get through, because we are resilient people in this community, and we're fighters. We've been through this, but we need to band together to fix these issues. And by no means, by slapping each other, are we going to fix problems. If someone's down, do we point at them and make fun of them? No, we help them up. But until we can figure out to work together to help each other out, we won't get better. But if we can do that, we're going to get where we're going. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bertrand. When I first came into office, I created a business model. This business model was to create a better community. I understood that by restoring a sense of a new alignment and by generating new revenue for the city, it would leave a better footprint to others to follow. Now, I understand that for every action, there's a reaction. I'm often told that I'm ceremonial and to direct the council only. I don't have a vote. That's the way the charter is. I did not support the raising of the taxes. I did not agree. I did not agree the way the bonds were also refinanced. On September 15, 2016, the rollback rate was set at 57 cents. The motion was made by Mr. Esparza and was initiated, and the council followed. That's when this community should have been here. And that's the point that should have been made, that the point is being made today. Restructuring of the bonds for 10 years versus 5 years affected the maintenance and operation of where we're at today, which set the city at 49.5 cents per $100 valuation. If we do anything today, as you're requesting, you would be talking about 3.5 cents per evaluation. And it would cost the city thousands of dollars. Now, what can we do? We can make a change today to look at how we're going to proceed in 2017. We can cut the terms in the remaining bonds of 2007 and 2009 so that we can accelerate those bonds, which would make about an $800,000, $850,000 difference in 2017, which will give us a step forward going into the budget of 2017 and setting a new tax rate. That's the advantage that we have. But to take action today and anything that we do would be very detrimental to the city in moving forward. I empathize with the situation that we're in, but we're all in it, and we have to make the best of it. Agenda item number 3, consider and act upon a funding request for Halo Flight to benefit the Halo Flight Emergency Unit for the South Texas area. Mr. Jocelyn?
Thank you, Mayor. We've got representatives from Halo Flight, and in your agenda packet, it's shown the history of our contribution towards this very beneficial service provided in the community. But I'd ask the ladies to come up and speak to council, please.
Thank you, Mayor and City Council members. My name is Patty Young. I'm the Development Director for Halo Flight. I appreciate you seeing us this evening. We have sent you a letter requesting a $5,000 donation, which you graciously did give us last year. In the previous years, I think we did not receive it because of budget cuts. We rely heavily on our donations, and we rely heavily on city-county donations in order for Halo Flight to exist. As you well know, we have a base here in Alice, Texas, so we are here 24/7, 7 days a week, to serve your citizens in this area. We originally sent you the letter, I believe, at the beginning of summer so that we could be put in your budget. If that was overlooked, I apologize for that, but we are here today to ask you for a donation of some sort. If the $5,000 is too much, we ask for, of course, any donation will help.
Council, I believe you have in front of you the accounts payable record of the years past, from 2011 to 2015. Council, open up for floor. Any question, Mrs. Young?
I'd like to say, first and foremost, we thank you for your great service that you provide here for this community, and of course, locating your helicopter here. It's been great to this community. It's been life-saving to this community, and I just want to thank you for your service and believing in Alice and staying in Alice for the people of this community. It's a great service. I live near the hospital, and I hear that Halo Flight, it's always going somewhere. I had spoke with some paramedics, and they said that Alice, Texas is probably one of the busiest air areas in the southern Texas.
It is our busiest area.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Due to the nature it's centrally located, it's a great facility, and you guys have done a phenomenal job. So my hat's off to you guys.
Thank you.
Council, any other comments, concerns? If not, I'll entertain a motion for agenda item number 3 to consider an act upon funding request for Halo Flight to benefit the Halo Flight Emergency Unit for the South Texas area.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to provide a funding of $5,000 to benefit the Halo Flight Emergency Unit for the South Texas area.
We have a motion by Mr. Burke. Do I have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Mr. Crisp. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed, say nay. The ayes have it. Thank you, Ms. Young.
Thank you.
Agenda item number 4, hear presentation related to the New Year's Eve celebration and consider the act upon request for the use of the city property and services with setup. Who will speak on this item?
Mayor, we've got our Community Development Director and also the, I believe, the chairman or president of the Parks and Recreation Committee that'll speak on this agenda item.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Local business and food vendors have approached the Community Development Department about hosting the City of Alice New Year's Eve celebration event at the site of the Alice Natatorium. This event would bring added foot traffic to the site of the multi-use complex and bring the community together in celebration of the new year. The only resources we can provide for this or any other event at that site would be in-kind, such as providing police, traffic patrol, and the use of park staff to set up the perimeter. Here to speak further about requested services for this event is the president of the Public Recreation Board, Ophelia Hunter.
Good evening, Mayor and Councilmen. I am here mainly as a proxy to the Indigo Restaurant, the owner, Rick Medina, and I am also president of the Parks and Recreational Committee. Mr. Medina could not make it today because he had surgery and not available to come. As y'all well know, we just recently rejuvenated the committee to help spur community events in our city. And before we were even appointed by City Council, we as volunteers, many of us who have volunteered for decades, put together different events for the city, for the county. We have been involved on and on. I have a whole list of them. But we also put together just this year the 4th of July celebration, which was a huge success with activities for the kids, adults, food vendors, along with music for about 4 hours at the Veterans Park. Also, just recently, we held the Meet Our Heroes to honor our veterans at the Veterans Park. We had about 35 veterans that we recognized, and more than 100 people attended the event, as did our mayor, and we appreciate that for you being there. The Alice High School ROTC drill team, the Color Guard, along with the Drama Club, they all participated in the event, so it was a whole community effort. It took several organizations to even get our park back up to par without costing the city any money. We had the Alice Rotary assist with the electrical wiring. We had the Alice Police Officer Association help paint the benches and the gazebo. We also erected service emblems throughout the park. The Republican Party donated flags and installed new flagpoles, and funds were donated by the Wells Fargo Bank for new picnic tables and barbecue pits. And now the park is being utilized thanks to those upgrades. In October, we had the Halloween bash with businesses and community volunteers, again, which brought hundreds of kids and parents to our downtown area. Everyone who participated donated their trinkets, their candy, their food, any items that were passed out to the kids. Again, volunteers and individuals who want the city of Alice to come together for the betterment of our community. None of the events that I mentioned have ever come before the City Council for approval. So I'm kind of puzzled as to why we put this on the agenda for an action item. But for whatever reason, we are here to do whatever it takes to bring positive and good family fun. At our November 3rd meeting of our Public Recreational Board meeting, the Indigo owners, both Rick Medina and Leo Camarillo, approached the board to consider this New Year's Eve bash at the Auditorium. And no, we are not favoring any business or restaurant. Indigo, along with Big House Burger, came to us. And we encourage other businesses and welcome other businesses or community organizations who want to partner and bring together and bring fun-filled events here for our residents of Alice. This idea was tossed around for about a year or so. Pete Beltran can vouch for that. We've been talking about this. Indigo have been talking about it for at least a year. The Alice Rotary Club used to have that New Year's Eve bash, and that was the reason we kind of, I think, strayed away. We didn't want to have to compete with an event that was already going on in Alice. But again, like I said, the board was approached, and we approved it after much discussion. And Indigo owners, again, have brought different concerts to Alice to give the residents some entertainment, and they could easily continue to do that in their own venue at the restaurant. But instead, they want to be able to help bring concerts to Alice and promote Alice. And this is why they came to our board to consider doing the New Year's Eve bash at the Auditorium and give the city this type of positive visibility. The New Year's Eve bash location that we're talking about does not include the water park or the Auditorium. All of that would be closed. We're talking about the area, the north side of the water park, where it's already fenced off and has access to electricity. For the most part, sponsorships will provide the music. They'll set up the stage and all the electronics and put everything together. Also, thanks to Budweiser, who normally does that for Indigo. We're planning on a possible midnight firework bang of some kind. We're not talking about a huge display. We're talking about a smaller version to bring in the new year. The area we're talking about has never been utilized by the Auditorium and has been sitting there with no activity since the water park's opening. So it's already fenced in, like I said. It has its own interest for admission if we want to charge an admission, but our goal is to have it for free. We have estimated that about several hundred people can fit in that area. Space is also provided at that location for vendors that can provide food They will have the required permits and pay the required city fees as required by the city ordinances. And that money will, of course, go back to their vendors. So what the sponsors are asking from the city is just a few things. Manpower where needed, the use of officers for security, we're talking 3 or 4, access to the bathrooms where it can be still locked on the outside of the bathrooms from what I know, so they don't have access to the water park and auditorium, but you still have that visibility in the background of the park. With the fencing, the cleanup would be much easier to handle. We'll all stay in that area. And because the city is not able to afford a nice New Year's Eve event, we as a community, along with businesses, want to pick up and be able to team up and promote the city of Alice. And this is a first step for many other events to come. Thank you.
Thank you. Council, open up for any questions or comments?
Yes, Mayor, thank you. I think sometime back in January, if I'm said to be corrected if I'm wrong, but we passed an ordinance that anything when it came to in-kind, that it would go to the city manager. Simply because in trying to cut back in expenses, if we're going to provide police officers, that's gonna generate over time. And the cleaning up is gonna demand people working overtime. I'm not saying that I'm against it. What I'm saying is that we had passed an ordinance simply because of this, in trying to cut back because it was a reoccurring thing on having to provide officers out there to patrol the area, protect. And now if we have officers that are willing to do it for free in their own time, I have no problem with it. Absolutely no problem. If they're volunteers, if they're off, and they want to do it, I have no problem with it.
How much, real quick, how much did y'all charge for the Halloween bash downtown?
That I
Charge
don't.
the downtown association for that?
I don't have that information before me.
I don't believe y'all did.
I'm just saying because it's coming before council right now, and because of this, we had passed an ordinance. Am I correct or not?
You're correct, sir.
Okay, and that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. If we did that for a reason, and that's why, it wasn't coming to council. Now it's coming to council, and I really don't know why. But if this is going to generate overtime and employees and all that kind of stuff, I'm not quite in agreement with it. But that's just me. I can speak for the rest.
That's what we're coming for. We're requesting that, but not necessarily in stone. If we have to provide it, then we're going to have to provide it, whether it's security or a cleanup. We all have to get together and clean up the next morning, we will. But we're coming with that request. If we don't get it, we still want to move on.
So, in fact, why this site? What's the purpose, or what was the point of picking the natatorium as a site to be able to do this type of event?
I think it's just been in the making. The idea was there. At first, we were thinking of that field on the south side. It's a huge field there that kind of similar to the fairgrounds. It's just a large field where they've had, different concerts out in the fairgrounds, and it's similar to that. But then when we realized they're actually, y'all did a walkthrough, I believe Josh did, and then we saw that the north side was already fenced in. You could allow a good couple of 100 people in that area. I think it's just promoting Alice, like I said. I've talked to Rick, and Rick mainly just wants to be able to have a different venue, have the visibility there. Like I said, he can continue doing it in his restaurant.
Sure.
But I think he wants to be able to work with our community. He wants to work with the city of Alice and, bring other people out to Alice, get to experience some good old entertainment.
Mr. Chuslin, if the city itself were sponsoring an event, purely the city, only the city itself, and there was security needed, who would pay for it?
We would, sir.
Okay. Is this where we're getting hung up on? Because we are, no, correct me if I'm wrong, is this not at least partially a city event?
Well, it's being sponsored by them. They came to us, and we're going to help them with sponsorships. A lot of us that are on the committee, along with Javier Ramos, who is here, he is a business owner here. We've got Toby Flores, who is another business owner. We've got Tessa Carrillo, who is a broker, realtor in our area. We've got Katrina Watson, who works for a finance advisory business here. We all have a lot of contacts. We've, of course, grew up, most of us here in Alice, and so we know a lot of people, and I think y'all do too. I've talked to some of y'all, and we're hoping that, we'll be able to get those sponsors to help us out with this event.
Are you guys paying any type of fee or anything to the city of Alice for this? Is there a fee in play, anything?
A fee in play, like a rental fee?
Yes, a rental fee. The aquatic facility manager and I have discussed, and they would have to pay a facility rental fee.
Okay.
Mr. Crisp, any comment?
Yeah. Right now, I think that the city is kind of divided as far as the natatorium is concerned. You have a large portion of people that view it as a huge negative, something that's kind of torn the city down. On the other hand, you have a following of people who actually enjoy it, who love it. I think, personally, an event like this would actually draw in more people that could come and see what this actually offers. That's not to say that we should spend the money as the city, but if we can get this done and it doesn't cost the city anything, it should be done, in my eyes. It brings people not only to our facility, but it also brings something to a lot of kids in this town that may not be able to enjoy things like fireworks because you can't have them in town. It's a public display that these sponsors want to put forth for the citizens, and in my opinion, minimal cost, maximum reward. So I like what you are doing there.
Yeah, and the point I was trying to make is any event we're going to have in this community that's community-wide, we are going to have to be involved directly or indirectly somehow. So at some point, if we don't, provide the leadership, we're using them as a channel, as an avenue to put on this event, because we can't do it ourselves. So we're always going to have a sponsoring organization to partner with us. So I think that's all they're really asking for.
Well, we think, that there is people still out there that want to have a celebration. I know that we haven't had a firework display in this community for several years, and it's been pretty depressing around the New Year's Eve time. And it's impressive that there's people out there that care that much that they're willing to put their own money up to pay for the firework display, to pay for the band. We need to find a way to work with our people that want to create these events for our citizens. This is probably a good way to diversify the natatorium. It's specifically obviously used for swimming events and recreational, but this is another type of money generating. It's got a lot of possibilities out there. This is another avenue that we can explore. If somebody wants to do it, we welcome anybody that wants to do anything, that we're willing to help at a capacity that is allowable. But like I said, I commend your efforts, and I commend the people that are willing to get involved in this aspect. And I think it's a great event.
Yeah. On another note, the idea behind the NAT when it was initially designed was going to have an amphitheater. The amphitheater would be this event.
Right.
So we're not going beyond what it was initially designed for. we may not have the facility that was initially designed, but we have the land and a blocked off area. And we can make this to anybody that wants to see it. It is completely fenced off with the gate here, allowing minimal access, the same as the amphitheater would have been. This is our mini amphitheater right now.
And certain councilmen, and that's exactly the facility manager and I have, again, bounced this idea around for some time, to have some kind of entertainment event out there. That lot is nearly the size of the natatorium itself. And as Ms. Hunter said before, had never been used. This is a terrific opportunity to increase foot traffic to that site, to show the people of Alice the coordination efforts to put together this New Year celebration, to also show them the size of that area and what it offers, and to do future events, future concerts. This has unlimited potential, and you stole the words from our mouths. This is what we identified as our amphitheater.
I think looking at this event, we're always seeking or trying to find new ways to generate revenue and turn the dollars within our community. And I think it's important to continue to have activities of this nature. The concern that I have is that we give the synopsis of the proposal. We haven't talked about a timeline. We haven't talked about what the budget is and what the cost to the city is. We haven't talked about how the city's going to benefit from that commitment, or exactly what fee are we charging Indigo or whoever's going to be out there, what our responsibility is, what their responsibility is. So can it happen? Yes, but there's a lot of details that haven't been brought forth yet of how it's going to happen. When we discuss 16 de septiembre over in our city hall area, or even Tejano Roots, they put a timeline and they put specifically what they're going to do. And we talked about, I think we have dialogue on what it's going to cost the city and those perspective on a time frame. That's the only question I would have as to, in the recommendation to the council, it's really hard to make a decision without the facts. So that's the only way, that's where I'm coming from.
Mayor, I believe that those questions have already been discussed between the community development and city manager. They've gone back and forth on a lot of different things. And I think if you give them the authority to, put that together, I don't think we need to micromanage everybody. Just, let's get it done. We are going to do our part, bringing in sponsors or whatever we need. If you know that it's not going to cost you a dime, and I think we can move forward on this. We're good at doing stuff spontaneously. I've been involved with so many events, activities, and with the city, like I said, with, on our own, different organizations. And sometimes it's just the best thing is just to move forward, do it spontaneously and get it done. And then however it may fall, it falls. It just won't fall on your lap. And we'll make it better the next year. That's all I can guarantee.
I support the project. I just think we need to be transparent. If we're at liberty to discuss what y'all have discussed today.
Mayor, you were actually in the room.
The dollar amount that was the fees?
We discussed, we needed to set a fee. You and I think, had talked about a fee.
I don't remember that. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Me too.
What was the fee?
You had mentioned a fee of like $250.
Now, I mentioned that, but was that set in stone?
No, sir.
No.
Yeah. So, council, that's something that can be discussed as well.
I'm just kind of puzzled on what dictates what goes on the agenda, what events and what don't. We've had several events that have come up and have not been on our agenda. And is there something that triggers this to be on the agenda? Is there anything, what makes it come on the agenda? What is it? Because there's some events that we don't put on this agenda. We don't have to make a decision on, and then there's some that we do. I like some clarity on that. I need to find out why this one's on here versus others.
Well, I think the fact that it's an auditorium is the big issue. It's not just an area that Because, I mean, we're going to have use of the bathrooms now. Are the bathrooms going to be
We've used the
locked?
Veterans Park, that's city property. We've used all the public streets, that's city property. We've used lots of other places that's city property and hasn't had to come to, to the council.
I was wondering why the downtown bash wasn't on this agenda. We closed off, I don't know how many streets. We barricaded so many streets, and we had police officers out there. So I'm trying to figure out what the difference is from that to this.
If I can answer.
I mean, this is the road,
Mr. Jocelyn, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Escobar did make mention that an ordinance had been put in place for some time to kind of streamline all of these events. And one of the biggest things that, the reasoning for this being on the agenda was a new event. And I think that's one of the biggest things that we tend to encounter. Anything new is at times controversial, and I believe some of the council had received inquiries into what was going on, and that's why it was placed on the agenda. Other than that, Councilman Escobar, I handle any events that are in the held within the city and work with committees and organizations to get that done. We are one of the biggest things that the council has made mention is we are in a financial situation which we can't participate as much as we used to, or at times at all. But we still have to provide a level of entertainment to our citizens. So this is the reason why it's on the agenda is like everything else, Facebook. Anything that's on Facebook at times can be a positive advertisement ability and a negative for people that want to be negative. And that's why it's on this agenda, because as strong as I am and at making decisions, this one needed to come this way and ask your input. But I believe the reasoning for the ordinance was because you're getting this information at this point in time, and it's hard for you to make a decision. And you shouldn't be placed in this predicament, is one of the things. But this is a new event, as many areas that we're facing nowadays is uncharted territory. So,
Like, I know the ordinance was put in play because we had events that were costing the city of Alice upwards of $16,000, $17,000, $18,000 per event. That's one of the reasons, obviously, today, we don't have the money to do that, Yes, this is an auditorium. It's a field. That's basically what, and this is the field you guys are wanting to do it in.
Correct.
So you guys won't be in the natatorium area, in the pools. I know there could be concerns with that, if they're going to be alcohol. I mean, in fact, I don't know what the problem is with this field that you guys want to use. So I'm fine with it. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. It's New Year's. Let's celebrate.
Agreed.
Just one more thing, Mayor.
Yes, sir.
Another concern is with the fireworks. You gotta make sure that you have fire traps out there in case we don't need no fires. So all those things gotta be looked at.
From what I've heard, they've already met with the fire chief, just like they did before in the airport, and we've done it before at Lake Finley and other areas. There's always a fire marshal out there with the pyrotechnicians, and then, of course, they're always on standby. So that's something that we will have to definitely set up.
Now, this event will create overnight stay. Have we contacted the chamber as well?
That's exactly what I was just asking Josh about. We could probably use some CVB monies if possible.
If that, I don't know how that can be used, but if that can be used towards security in fine arts or something like that, then that would be helpful to also work that way.
Thank you.
Council, any more questions? Comments? If not, I'll entertain a motion for agenda item number 4.
We want to do a motion, how would we, I mean, what is the,
What is?
Well, it's actually not an action item, is
Yeah,
it?
I didn't think so.
what do you?
Okay. We'll move on to agenda item number 5. Consider and act upon an offer to purchase tax sale property described at Lot 2, Block 1, Sixto Garcia addition, in addition to the City of Alice, Jim Wills County, Texas, according to the map plat thereof recorded in Volume 3, page 77, map recorded at Jim Wills County, Texas, and consider and act upon a resolution authorizing tax resale. Mr. Jocelyn?
It's the same thing, Mayor, that we dealt with on the last council meeting. Lineberger has this property. They've got an offer of $1,400. Our city clerk called today and spoke with them. It's an empty lot, and they just want to sell it and get it back on the tax rolls and possibly do something with it. Mr. Tyler may have some additional information.
Mayor, I spoke to the attorneys at Lineberger today. The last page of your council packet shows the amount due the city and the other taxing entities and the amount we will actually receive. The majority of this money is going to go to the cost of sale, but it will get it back on the tax rolls. It's being purchased by a company up near Dallas, this Next Lots Now LLC. They have been working with the city on tax purchases. It's not the first purchase they've made. And they are actively, in not just this community, in several, buying up tax sales properties, trying to get them rehabilitated and put back into use. The city's not going to get much money out of it, but say it's sitting. It was foreclosed in December of 2014. I'm sorry, January of 2014, and it's been off the tax rolls now for 3 years.
Council, any questions on agenda item 5?
Someone's put a bid in for $14,000?
$1,400.
1,400.
Yeah.
This is a good example here of what, of our tax breakdown. You know, if this was to sell today for $1,400, Jim Wills County would receive $25. City of Alice would receive $15, and the Alice Independent School District would receive $55. So this is a good breakdown to be able to indicate to our constituents of the breakdown of how taxes get allocated through the community. $15 is a...
Right. The city of Alice is roughly only 15% of the total property tax burden on any piece of property in town. Out of every total property tax, we get about 15 cents of it. We are a very small part of it.
Small potatoes.
Okay. Council, if there's any other questions, I'll entertain a motion for agenda item number 5.
Yes, Mayor, I make a motion that we accept that agenda item as presented.
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Escobar. I have a second by Mr. Burke. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. The ayes have it. Agenda item number 6, conduct a public hearing, consider an act upon an ordinance rezoning the 2 acres of tract of called 27.54 acre tract recorded in volume 675, page 123, official records of Jim Wills County, Texas. Also being out of lot 7, block WNG, Collins Farms lots, as recorded in volume 1, page 72. Transcribed map record Jim Wills County, Texas from R1 zoning to B3 zoning boundaries. This is a public hearing. We'll open up the public hearing at 7:34. Anyone from the public to speak on agenda item number 6? If there's no one to speak on this item, we will close the public hearing at 7:35. And we'll open it up for Mr. Flores. You have the
Yes,
floor.
sir. Mayor and council, this is the First Home Healthcare Edition, located south intersection of Stadium and East Sain Street. This is an expansion for this business that will create jobs for our community.
Council on the floor to ask any questions, Mr. Flores?
And gentlemen, just to let you know, in an efforts between staff and I, we've been working very hard at this to expedite the process from permit to construction. One of these improvements that we made was the delay between Planning and Zoning Commission and City Council. Last night, Planning and Zoning Commission met and passed this, and the very next day, it's ready for use, so that way the developers and constructors can get to work.
Good.
So this is the South Stadium project that we're working on.
Yes, sir. It's across the street from the Bordeaux Apartments.
That second, there's something there, and then it's an empty lot.
Right, yes, sir.
Council will entertain a motion for agenda item number 6.
Yes, Mayor, I move that we go ahead and accept the action item as presented.
We have a motion by Mr. Escobar. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
We have a second by Mr. Beltran. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. The ayes have it. Agenda item number 7.
Mayor, it's an
Oh, you have to
ordinance.
reading it.
Yes. The council has just passed an ordinance of the City of Alice, Texas, amending the zoning ordinance by rezoning 2.00 acre tract out of a call 27.54 acre tract recorded in volume 675, page 123, official records of Jim Wells County, Texas, and also being out of Lot 7, Block W, N.G. Collins Farm Lots, as recorded in volume 1, page 72, transcribed map records, Jim Wells County, Texas, from a R1 residential district to a B3 business district situated in the City of Alice, Jim Wells County, Texas, directing changes in the official zoning map, providing a savings clause, a severability clause, and an effective date.
Thank you, Mr. Tyler. Agenda item number 7, conduct a public hearing and consider an act upon an ordinance rezoning 5.5 acre tract of land being out of Part Farm Block 148 and Farm Block subdivision of the record in Volume 1, page 63, transcribed map records and record Jim Wells County, Texas, and also being out of the La Vaca Jose Maria Garcia Grant, abstract 166, situated with the city limits of Alice, Jim Wells County, from R1 to B3 zone boundary change. This is a public hearing. We'll open up the public hearing at 7:37. Anyone from the public willing to speak on this item? If not, we'll close the public hearing at 7:38. Mr. Flores, you have the floor.
Yes, Mayor, this is the Royal Oaks Estate Subdivision Phase 1. The owner, Alberto Gonzalez, is requesting the zoning change to develop commercially along this boundary. This property is currently and used for baling hay, and these areas they front onto South Cameron and also South Texas Boulevard and adjourn other commercial properties. Again, as I stated before, last night, the Planning and Zoning Commission voted yea to approve this request unanimously. The staff recommends approval.
Council, any questions, Mr. Flores? Comments?
This is on South Texas Boulevard.
It's a large piece of property. It's actually between South Cameron and South Texas. It encompasses everything. It's just to the north of the haciendas, if I'm not mistaken.
806 Laura?
Yes, sir. Laura's to the north.
What's the, I guess, housing developing?
There will be housing, yes, sir, off of Lauda Street. There will be a housing development right there that will be the main roadway to get to those homes. And then along each side is going to be commercial.
Is there approximation how many houses will be built on this site?
If it's not listed specifically on the map, I'm not too sure.
Josh, you've got representatives here. If you
Yeah,
want.
if you'd like, sir, they can answer
Yes,
that.
we'd like to have our representatives up here.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council.
How are you, sir?
My name is Gilbert Guerra with Rio Delta Engineering. I'm here representing Mr. Albert Gonzalez, which is also in the audience. I'm here to answer whatever questions you may have. I'm sorry, sir, what was it?
Before you get started, we want to thank you for coming to the city of Alice and still believing in Alice and building. When we have the deception of the people saying everyone's leaving, you guys have came in. We've had several agenda items here where we have businesses that are wanting to approve plats to build. And again, we thank you for stepping up and doing this. In fact, I know you're building homes, and I think there's some commercial properties as well. One of my questions was, what is the amount of housing, or what
Phase 1 consists of 17 residential lots. They're all above 10,000 square feet, and 5 commercial lots, a little bit over an acre each, with the commercial lots fronting onto Texas and onto Cameron Street. The initial 17 lots will be facing onto Laura Street to the north. Phase 2 consists of 44 residential lots. So depending on how it goes with Phase 1, and Mr. Gonzalez will continue with Phase 2. And I appreciate your gesture, sir, but it's easy for me. I was hired to do the work. Mr. Gonzalez is investing, I would say, just in construction costs, almost 400 grand for Phase 1. And in property values, I would say somewhere in the neighborhood of maybe 150 to 200,000. So he's investing over $500,000 in your community in a slow economy. So if anybody deserves the credit, it's him.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for doing what you're doing. What size of specs of homes? Is there any criterias or
Yes, sir.
sizes?
We established some residential deed restrictions for the subdivision. And we're asking for a minimum of 1,800 square foot homes, including a 2-car covered garage, 80% masonry, which consists either stucco, brick, or stone, and 100% on slab-on grade foundation, so nothing in the air.
Good. Is there any potential business or anything? Is there anything located on the edges, which would be Texas Boulevard and Cameron, that are going to be available for commercial?
Yes, sir. Those will be 1-acre lots. The ones on Texas stretch about 281 feet in length along Texas, and then they've got 162 feet in depth. The ones on Cameron are turned around the other way. They've got 161 foot of frontage onto Cameron, and they stretch in about 289, 290 feet. So they're good-sized commercial areas for somebody that wants to establish a business there.
I guess one of the major concerns that I would have is, do we have the infrastructure in the area to accommodate
Yes, sir.
the homes?
The subdivision is serviced water by a 12-inch line each along Cameron and Texas Boulevard, and an existing 8-inch along Laura Street, excuse me. We're leaving the stub outs for both water and sewer available for Phase 2, so that we don't have to tear any more street. Now, as part of the development, we'll be extending sewer from Texas west to and through the frontage of the subdivision, and once again, leaving stub outs in for Phase 2. As a part of doing that, we're going to be tearing up approximately 10 feet of Laura Street. We'll be rebuilding it and installing curb and gutter and drainage for that section of street to tie back into the main drain system on Texas.
When you say we, it means you guys will.
Well, we're part of the team, yes, sir.
Okay.
We'll be there with the owner.
Okay, good.
He'll be hiring a contractor.
To do the curb and gutter, so to
Yes,
make
sir,
all
to do all
the
the work.
improvements on that
And of course,
south side.
under supervision and with coordination with your engineering and public works department.
I don't mean to put anybody in the spot, but how has the experience been so far with our engineering firm and permitting and everything?
It's been fine, sir. It's been very straightforward. This is not the first project I do in Alice. I did another project I guess about a year and a half back. A light type little subdivision that had frontage, and it's my understanding that developer is pretty much sold out on his lots. There's a need for residential lots in the area. Even though it is a slow economy, something that never slows down is the population growth, and people come home. They need places to build their homes.
Thank you.
Council, the actual plat is under section 10,
Yes, sir. It's item number 10 on the agenda.
if you want to look at that. No, we're not there yet, but that's where the plat is.
The whole of the 27 acres is zoned R1 for the moment. In making the 5 acres that comprise the 5 commercial lots, it requires us to bring the lots into compliance with your zoning ordinance. Thus, the request for rezoning to B3.
Yeah, we won't recognize this side of town anymore, not with what you're doing here.
Well, that's the bet Mr. Gonzalez is making.
Wow.
That pretty much is an oversized block. It's my understanding that it's not the full area though, correct? There is a portion of it on Cameron, on the south side, that is not,
There's one corner, sir, of the, at Cameron and Laura that is not in this parcel.
okay.
And then to the south, I believe, is the Housing Authority.
And then that one section that is not attached to that corner of Cameron and what is it, Laura?
Yes, sir.
That will actually have a frontage, I guess, to Laura. That is still gonna be a commercial plot facing that way? Or is that, what are y'all zoning? Is that one of the ones that we're zoning in this here, or is that?
That's owned by another owner, and
No.
there's an existing structure on that.
Oh, I see, yeah.
I'm talking about the secondary plot, the smaller section behind it.
Phase 2?
Or-
It's hard to,
Yeah.
this one here, this is the plot you're saying that we do not, that is not included, but I'm
Yes, sir.
asking about this small section here.
Oh, no, that's a residential lot.
That's gonna be an oversized residential? Okay.
That may be Mr. Gonzalez's residence.
Okay.
Council, if there's not any more questions, I'll ask for, entertain a motion for agenda item number 7.
Yes, Mayor, I move that we move forward.
We have a motion by Mr. Escobar. I have a second by Mr. Burke. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed, say nay. The ayes have it. Agenda item number 7 passes. Thank you, sir.